All right, it has started. Two-piece cans. I'm just fixing my stuff. Waiting for y'all to come on in. Two-piece cans. I'm just fixing my. Wait. I must have got another link open. Waiting for y'all to come on in. Two-piece cans. I'm just fixing my. There we go.
Y'all started? Two-piece.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all started? Okay.
Yes, we have.
Two-piece. Y'all started? Okay.
Yes, we have. You must got yours open too. You heard, Ken?
That's just no, that's just you. Yeah, I do now. I was trying to send the link to somebody. I think my hair too thick now. I can't even
take it to one of the
yeah, I'm about to get it, to get them to expand it.
Yeah. All right. Got my solenoid. Found my solenoid yesterday when I was cleaning up. I'm like, oh man, solenoid just sitting around, waiting to be worn. Right. All right. All right. So, all right. All right. I guess I could start my talking. Two-piece cans. Welcome to another show. As you guys can see, there's the name of the show is How the Moon / Satellite Was Created via Noone. So that you guys can see. You guys can see the thing about Noone is that in order to understand who you are, you have to understand what's around you, and you need to understand nature. And this is why we're doing, certain videos on the orbs, certain videos, especially on planet Earth, the the moon, and eventually we'll get to the sun as well, who is the creator of our solar system. And then outside of the sun, we go to other suns that play a part in our creation and the universe. And then we'll get to space, matter, and time, which is nature in general. All right. So my name is A-Noot, Boonoo, NoopooH, and I represent the bone marrow in the Ethiopian race. And I'm dedicated and obligated to making sure that the truth that Afro-Unu, who is the messenger of Noone, the science that we promulgate, making sure that this message gets out and making sure that it's even more simplified than it's already been simplified for us, and have a proper understanding as to what it is that we're following and what it is that we're doing. So I'm gonna let my co-host introduce himself as always. We'll get the show rolling.
Yeah, true mental cosmic peace and war terms, elite, innocent, and elect kins and friends of the Ethiopian African race. My name is Kinoo, the Bladder NoopooH, and I'm also represent the bladder in the body of the Ethiopian race, whose body function is to clean out the waste and retain what needs to be for the betterment and functioning of the Ethiopian body as a whole. This show is going to be very, very interesting indeed, because as I spoke on the last show, they had many different misinterpretations of the moon and how it came to be, especially in this new age, which is basically the age of technology. Some say the age of Aquarius, but in actuality, we are in the age of Libra. And I think Libra is the liver.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are actually in the zodiac sign. We are in the liver section of Almighty Nature, where the liver is a balancing organ. And so those of us who understands what that means in the body parts and the part that we play on a microscopic level, are getting ready to not fall any lower. And so again, that'll be in a different time zone when me and the Ken break down the story that Ani wrote in the Coming Forth by Day.
Mm-hmm.
When they call the Book of the Dead, where we actually explain exactly what it was that the scribe was actually talking about. And so just be on the lookout for that. But definitely this moon thing is going to be very good, because I got something I want to add into it after the Ken bring forth this scientific, geographic, topography, seismic, all that good stuff, which is what science covers about the origin of the moon and all those good things. So without further ado, do your thing, Ken. You know, you got to start off the commercial.
I always got to do the commercial. So, you know, I always start off the segment because I'm always sipping something, right? I'm always sipping on some syrup. Now, actually I do have some syrup. Actually, I do have some syrup. But today I got my tea, right? And this is soursop leaf tea, right? And it's basically just pure soursop leaves in tea form. And soursop leaves are actually good for cancer. So if you know anybody that's dealing with cancer or issues like that, use the soursop leaves. All right. I'm sipping on that. And the type of sugar, if you want to use sugar, you can use date syrup. All right. So these are made from dates, which is a natural form of sugar. All right. I know a lot of people use agave, but you know, once something becomes commercialized, I kind of stay away from it because they start adding stuff to it and things like that. And the sugar in agave is pretty high, and it probably gives an adverse, you know, effect towards the body. It's still good to use, you know, but when they start commercializing these things, it's kind of, you know, it get kind of bad. But you know, this is date syrup. It's a little small. It cost me about $9.99. For this little bottle. How many fluid ounces is this? It's about 12 ounces. You know, so I just add a little bit to my tea. You know what I'm saying? Add a little bit to the tea, stir it around a little bit, and you know, and there you go. I'm fighting cancer. All right. So that was my syrup commercial. My sipping on my syrup. All right. So finally, like I told y'all last week, we had the I was telling you guys that we had the socks, the women's socks that was gonna come in, right? So finally, I have the women's one. That's the women's thigh high joints. You know what I'm saying? This is just like the men's. I'm gonna hold on. Let me pull out the men's joint. Hold on. So it's just like the men's joints. This the men's, right? This the women's. As you can see, is longer. You know, thigh high, and this is the high top for the men's, and I got a special one for the children. So you got man, woman, and child. I got the whole family pack. All right. So you guys could go to NoopooHnoon.com. I don't think it's up there yet, but I'm going to do a nice little package where you guys can have man, woman, and child. All right. Man, woman, and child. You got the whole family pack here now. All right. So, and I'm gonna do a nice little discounted price. But if you want to buy the women's socks separately, that's 15. You want to buy the men's socks separately, that's 10. And you want to buy the children's socks separately, that's 7. So, man, woman, and child. All right. So that's my little commercial. You know, you guys, I do my little commercial. So finally, we got all the whole family pack in. All right. So, but there's other socks that came in that I want to also promote real quick. So if you guys end up buying the family pack, you guys can bring these other socks to fruition, right? And I want to show you guys these dope socks that were made, and I can't wait for them to drop. You know, if you guys support the brand and can bring them forth, right? So always got to do my little commercial. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna support the other businesses as well on here that are in Noone. And if you got a business that you guys just want to promote too, like I'll promote your business too. You know, just send us an email or text or something on Facebook, and I'll send that stuff to you. So all right, without further ado, here are the samples. This is the Nat Turner sock, right? And you're probably wondering why the sock is teal and what this symbol is, right? And there's a date on here as well. So this particular Nat Turner sock is in like a bluish green, right? And that bluish green represents the sky or the sun when Nat Turner saw the sun as a sign to start his revolution, right? If you go into the story, you'll see that Nat Turner, the sign for Nat Turner to know when to pop off his revolution, it was that the sun looked bluish green as this eclipse was happening. So that's the moon and that's the sun that looked bluish green. And this fist that you see here was the hand of God. He said it looked like the hand of God going over the sun, right? So that is a representation of the hand of God, or the black man's hand rather, going over the sun. And this is the volcano that erupted that caused the debris. If you look around the sock, you'll see the debris around the sock. All right. So the debris represented that bluish green material that he saw, and this is the volcano that erupted at that same time. So everything is imagery, and we must relive these moments. You understand? We must have our revolution. And the date that it happened was August 21st to the 23rd, 1831. All right. So that's the Nat Turner sock. Remember, if you guys support, you guys could have these socks yourself, because these are just samples. All right. So those are Nat Turner socks. Next pair is the Dinkra socks. And if you look at these socks, it has all the Dinkra symbols on it. Some you may recognize, some you may not recognize. All right. And you know, these are Dinkra symbols represent different things like power, encouragement, you know, things of that nature. All right. And it has the Dinkra symbols on them. All right. I got that one in black, and I also have it in white. All of these can come if you guys help to support the brand. All right. Then we have the Rastafarian culture, right? And you know, the Rastafarian culture deals with the Lion of Judah and things of that nature, but it was also influenced by Marcus Garvey with the red, black, and green. Only thing they use is the red, gold, and green. All right. And you have the lion here, and like you know, with the red, gold, and green. All right. You guys support the brand, these can come. You see?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And last but definitely not least, I can't wait to present this to her. I know it's going to be a shock to her, but these are the Sacred Woman socks. Purple and white. That's her colors. Her colors are purple. So when I see her next time, this is her symbol too, the Sacred Woman symbol. All right. As you can see, Sacred Woman. All right. So we have to honor our ancestors, whether they be living or deceased. And I have it in white, purple, and I have it in white as well. Or purple and white, as you guys can see. All right. So support the brand, and I could definitely support, you know, our people by making sure that they're remembered and they are on your soul. All right. So that's the commercial, you know, and I just wanted to, you know, give thanks to Kwipu for helping me to design the socks. I know it took a couple of, you know, days, sometimes weeks to try to design these socks. You know, it was a little headache every, you know, here and there, but it came out to be something very beautiful. All right. Also Kwipu and Tar Noone, they have a business together. It's called N.E.Y, and they create different products for the skincare, healthcare, hair care, body butters, and things of that nature, where they could where you can help keep the body clean on the outside. And the website for that is nonbynature. Non-by-nature. Well, if you want, you could explain that a little further while
I was trying to pull it up at least so they could see it. Hold on, let me see. All right, hold on, let me screen share this if I can. Let me know, can you see it? Did the screen change?
It says moon. Okay, now it's showing.
Okay, so
it says
this,
moon.
yeah, this is the the nonbynature.com website, so y'all could just get a nice little glimpse of it. Vegan friendly. This is the RBG soap, inspired by Marcus Garvey and Afro Uno, two of our great liberators. And it breaks down the colors, what it means. You have the flower sulfur soap. You have the mint and eucalyptus bath soap. Vegan friendly. All this is vegan friendly. The detoxifying turmeric and charcoal soap. You have the eucalyptus calendula balm as well. Then we have they have the flower sulfur hair growth oil for men's mustaches and women's hair. It's also vegan friendly. This is also, she said, if you are unsure if you have an allergy to sulfur, do a patch test first. Got raw African black soap, also vegan friendly. You have the green tea eucalyptus soap, vegan friendly. And you have the liquid African soap. It's also vegan friendly, and they have the ingredients or whatnot. Like I said, support intelligent, African-minded black businesses. That's what I want to add, and because that need to be the new Revolve mantra. Because supporting black businesses is not necessarily specific. Because if we're just giving money to our own just to put it back into the same system that's not giving nothing to us, it makes no sense. We're still rewarding a system that does nothing for us. It's no different than just taking money and giving it to non-blacks, and they don't take the money they get from us and give it back to us. So there's no sense giving black people money who are not going to take it and give it back to black people, is what I'm saying. But the choice is ultimately yours. You have vanilla oatmeal beer balls with honey. As you can see, they had the little symbols in it, the little pictures in it, very creative. We have Gertha Paste and Pink Lemonade Scrub. That's coming soon. And Gertha is actually the name of planet Earth in Noone science. I'm going to go back up in here. Contact. Just go to contact real quick. Let's see. So you can contact with name, email, subject, and a message. So this is just the basic site for right now. A lot of other stuff is going to be added. This is a little bit about the website that Noone and NoopooH have designed together, and a lot of stuff is being done on a regular to be able to let people know. Again, you can find on Instagram as well. It's N.E.Y by Nature on Instagram as well. So I think that's the commercial, Ken. Let's go ahead and move on. I forgot, how do you stop screen sharing?
You go to the side and press, or the bottom, it says stop screen sharing.
Where? On the bottom left or the bottom right?
You could either do it on the left with that green arrow, where the arrow in the green box is, where you put screen sharing.
Let me see.
There you go. You stop screen sharing.
Cool.
All right. All right. So today happens to be Black Solidarity Day. It happens to be Black Solidarity Day, and this is a day I believe Marcus Garvey and them had created, you know, for you to stay home from work. And, you know, they gave this to me. Actually, no, the founder was Dr. Carlos Russell. Yesterday, I went to a UNIA meeting and I taped it, but you know how the filthy forces are. They didn't allow the video to you know, stay put. But today is Black Solidarity Day, and this is a day that I think that we should celebrate as Black people. And Black Solidarity Day means no work, no school, and no shopping, you know, especially in white, well, sorry, in Caucasian or Arabian or Chinese or any other race other than your own. If you're going to shop, then buy Black. You should buy Black, you should support Black and things of that nature. But you know what's so bad about this holiday? That after you do celebrate this, guess what you're doing tomorrow?
Black
you're going
Friday.
No, you're going to vote. Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, vote. Yeah, Black Friday coming too.
You know what I'm saying? So if you could go out and shop on Black Friday and give billions of dollars to Caucasian businesses, why can't this be the day where you spend billions of dollars on Black businesses and make some billionaires out of us? You know, we just gave you two businesses that you can spend, you can literally, you know, spread our video, buy black, do all those different things. You know what I'm saying? And what we're doing makes sense. We're remembering our ancestors. We're keeping the body clean and things of that nature. So shout out to Dr. Russell for creating this particular holiday for us. But we can't stop at just this holiday, because then tomorrow y'all going out and voting to keep us oppressed. You guys got it. This has to be a everyday effort. All right. So things don't stop there though. Let me also, you guys should also know this is still up for sale as well. And the explanation will be coming on my personal channel real soon. And this is the Nodiac. That's still up for sale as well. You guys could go get this on the NoopooH Noone website, NoopooNoone. This is still going right now for $10. You know, it's nothing to keep this up in the house. And as I was giving the presentation yesterday, the presentation was that, you know, this is how we become unified. When we start using herbs, vegetables, and foods to basically keep us in unison with the stars, because each one of these constellations, like this right now, we're in the kidney section, right? And we're supposed to be using herbs, vegetables, fruits.
Chat first. Don't do that. Please don't do that. She never greets until she's greeted first. Don't do that.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, so the kidney section is supposed to be using herbs, you know, fruits and vegetables to strengthen out all our kidneys at once. So once we start eating the proper foods to be in unison with our bodies, guess what? We as a collective whole in our electromagnetic energy will be working with the universe. How do we expect to be in tune with the universe when we're not in tune with ourselves? Understandable? So this Nodiac will help us to get in tune with ourselves. You understand? So, and it's also based scientifically. Also, there's holidays that go around this thing. You know, as time goes on, I'm going to add more and more holidays to it so that we can, you know, a calendar helps us to get our economic structure on. Because even if you go to the Caucasian calendar, guess what? Christmas coming, you start spending money on gifts. Thanksgiving coming, you start spending money on food. Where's our revolutionary Thanksgiving where we can buy fruits, vegetables, and things of that nature to help bring us into health, herbs, and all those different things? We need a holiday in opposition to that. Because when we start to eat that deadly food at Thanksgiving, there's no balancement to it. It's killing us inside. All right. So we need a holiday where we can buy fruits, vegetables, herbs, or even fasting, you know, when as a collective whole, like Ramadan. A lot of Muslims fast together in that space or period of time. We need that in our culture as well. All right. So it's important for us to get back to understanding who we are. But before we get to understanding who we are, this is why we're here with this show, is to help to us to understand who and what these orbs are. All right. So let's get to who and what the orbs are. And we're gonna have to go to the nature books to get to that. So where's the satellite? Satellite. You want to say anything, Ken, before we move on?
No, you good. I wanted to say true peace to the chat. True peace the Total Net, true peace to Quipu, and true peace to 9 times NoopooH in the building.
Nice. I'm trying to find the page with the Satellites. All right, I'm just gonna have to scroll down. Okay. We did the planet before. We're gonna do. Okay, here we go. Satellites of nature by reason. I'm just gonna briefly read it real quick. Let me know if you see that. See it? All right, cool. All right, listen to reason. After the sun of our solar system initiated the formulation of the brain core of the planet Earth in the formless matter that remained around the sun after the sun was born, the star rolled that brain core against the chaotic matter left, causing layers of material matter to grow and complete the formation of Goddess Mother Earth. Then the God Sun caused planet Goddess Earth to catch fire from one of his projections of ether called prominence by mundane scientists and ejaculation by universe scientists. Therefore, Mother Goddess Earth was projected into orbit from the sun and in flames when the flames eventually died down and finally went beneath the earth, beneath her surface, still burning, the humidity and moisture in the planet's magnetic field began to condense as the sun sent more water. Then it rained and rained and kept on raining and raining. And when the penetrating water reached the burning chemicals beneath Mother Earth's surface, pressures began to build up. And when those pressures reached the point where they cannot be contained any longer, tremendous explosions took place from beneath the Earth planet's surface. The explosions sent giant chunks of the Earth into orbit around planet Earth. And by help of the sun, these chunks of matter became the sun and satellite of Mother Earth, called the moon of our planet. 9 ether, 9 reason energy, and water helped the 9 nature clay brain in the center of the moon grow the satellite into a universe organism and guard of planet Earth. Let it be remembered always. Listen to reason. The matter from the subterranean explosions in planet Earth that did not reach orbit to become parts of the moon fell back to Earth and formed mountains, ridges, hills, and other high places on the planet. The explosions caused huge cracks and craters in the earth, which became rivers, lakes, seas, and oceans as rains kept coming and falling and running to balance themselves in nature's equilibrium. Some mountains and higher places were formed when the pressures from the burning chemicals beneath Mother Earth's surface were not strong enough to cause any explosion, but strong enough to push up the Earth's crust or surface. All right. So that was basically the creation of the moon, right? And let's look at what that looks like in mundane science. I'm going to end my screen sharing, right? Yeah, I'm sipping on my syrup. Sipping on my syrup. Because it's going to be a nice smoker today. Hope you guys are tuned in, because it's going to be a good show. All right. So let's go. Let's go directly to the birthplace of the moon and this fire that they speak about. You guys ready for this? Drum roll. I'm silly with it. All right, let's screen share this. Boom. Boom. You can see the screen. Just let me know if you can see the screen. I'm pretty sure you could probably see it. You see it though, right?
Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. All right. There's something called the Ring of Fire in conventional science, right? And this Ring of Fire is what create. Oh. All right. This Ring of Fire is what is where the moon was born. This whole area right here is where the moon was born. The Pacific Ocean. All right. But of course we're gonna have to prove that, right? So let's go to the Pacific Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is a major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean where many earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. In large, 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 miles horseshoe shape is associated with the nearly continuous series of oceanic trenches, volcanic arcs, and volcanic belts and plate movements. It has 452 volcanoes, more than 75% of the world's active and dormant volcanoes. The Ring of Fire is sometimes called the Circum-Pacific Belt. About 90% of the world's earthquakes and 81% of occur along the Ring of Fire. All but 3 of the world's 25 largest volcanic eruptions of the last 11,700 years occurred at volcanoes in the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire is a direct result of plate tectonics, the movement and collisions of lithospheric plates, especially subduction in the northern portion. The southern portion is more complex, with a number of smaller tectonic plates in collision with the Pacific plate from the Mariana Islands, the Philippines, the Bougainville, Tonga, and New Zealand. All right. So I just want you guys to look at the Pacific Ring of Fire. All right. Now, these are some of the mountains that he was saying came back down to earth. Mount Garibaldi, Mount St. Helens, all right, Mount Pinatubo, Mount Mayon, another mountain called Krakatoa, I believe, and these right here, there's cracks along here as well. But the moon was born within that fire. Because you remember the moon is made of what? Clay. All right. It's made of clay. So what causes clay? Rocks and fire. And as you can see, it was exploded from the planet in this Ring of Fire. All right. Hold on. Let me exit out this pic so you guys can see exactly where this Ring of Fire is. You see that? So the moon was born in this section right here. All right. It was blown from the planet. Before, like, if you read what Noone said, before the water came. So it wasn't no water here. Wasn't no Pacific Ocean here yet. Until the sun sent its share of water. All right. So anything you want to add to that or anything yet, Ken?
If you could go into how did it get its name?
What, the Pacific Ring of Fire?
Yeah.
Hold on, because I think they oh, Well, the Pacific Ring of Fire, you got to remember that's where the volcanoes come from, and those are fire.
Oh yeah. I think I remember that a long time ago. I heard about that. It's a whole bunch of volcanoes over there.
Yeah, most of I think 81% of the world's volcanoes, earthquakes happen around it, which is the shiftment of the tectonic plate, which will, which caused these eruptions and explosions when the planet was first forming. All right. Let's see how the Caucasian basically tells us that how the moon was in their, in their words. All right. But they also make it known that it was a part of the planet, the moon. All right. So let me screen share this real quick. You guys are getting a big dose of the truth. All right. So you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Giant impact hypothesis. Sometimes they call it the big splash or the Theia impact. All right. So here they go. The giant impact hypothesis, sometimes called the big splash or the Theia impact, suggests that the moon formed out of the debris left over from a collision between Earth and an astronomical body the size of Mars, which is a lie. But this is where they got some of those stories from, that a planet collided into this planet and caused the moon to be formed. This is false. The moon came directly from explosions where I just showed you where the Pacific Ring of Fire is. All right. And that's what brought the moon up out of the earth. All right. So let's keep it moving. But this is where they got some of these stories from. Now the conventional scientists are trying to confirm all those stories, which is false. All right. But let's keep it moving. A collision between Earth and an astronomical body the size of Mars. Approximately 4.5 billion years ago in the Hadean Eon, about 20 to 100 million years after the solar system coalesced. The colliding body is sometimes called Theia, from the name of a mythical Greek titan who was the mother of Selene, the goddess of the moon. But this is where they get this whole moon thing from. All right. Look, this is a very important part of this. Analysis of lunar rock published in a Oh, I thought you guys were saying something. Analysis of lunar rocks published in a 2016 report suggests that the impact may have been a direct hit, causing a thorough mixing of both parent bodies, which means that they know that the moon comes from planet Earth. This is not some mysterious thing. This ain't no big head scientist called what's his name? This guy, this big head scientist they always
Yakub.
All right. This is foolishness. All right. The moon came directly from the planet. All right. The giant impact hypothesis, and it's not a hypothesis in Noone. We know where it comes from. I'm just showing you guys the connection between what they may think they know and what Noone already knows, and patching together the impact in which you guys can see that the moon definitely came out the planet through explosions, and some of those explosions caused mountains to be formed. And I'm going to show you those mountains that will form right along the Pacific Ring of Fire. But let's keep it moving. The giant impact hypothesis is currently the favored scientific hypothesis for the formation of the moon. Supporting evidence includes the Earth's spin and the moon's orbit have similar orientations. Moon samples indicate that the moon's surface was once molten. This is where the volcanoes come from. The moon has relatively small iron core. This is because it was blown from the middle of the planet. All right? That's why the iron core for the moon is the same iron core for the planet. Okay? The moon has a lower density than Earth. That's because it's actually smaller than Earth. This is evidence in other star systems of smaller collisions resulting in debris brisk. So they understand that the debris, same as in Noone, is what formulated the moon. All right? Giant collisions are consistent with the leading theories of the formation of the solar system. Was no collisions. This was the sun creating the solar system through explosions, but they don't want to give credit to the sun and the power of it creating. All right? This all leads back to the discrediting of the sun because of this moon culture. We have to understand we are in a moon culture. So the discrediting of the creation of the sun this is what you're looking at. All right? This is a very, very important part of it too. The stable isotope ratio of lunar and terrestrial rock are identical, implying a common origin, which means that the isotopes, the oxygen isotopes on the moon is the same oxygen isotopes. I'm sorry. Are the same oxygen isotopes on our planet. Same oxygen isotopes on the moon are the same oxygen isotopes on the planet. All right. There remains several questions concerning the best current model of the giant impact hypothesis. However, the energy of such a giant impact is predicted to have heated Earth to produce a global magma ocean. And evidence of the resultant planetary differentiation of the heavier material sinking into Earth's mantle has been documented. However, as of 2015, there is no self-consistent model that starts with giant impact event and follows the evolution of the debris into a single moon. Other remaining questions include the moon lost its share of volatile elements, and that's because it lost its water to the planet, and why Venus, which experienced giant impacts during its formation, does not host a similar moon. All right, so history. In 1898, George Darwin made the suggestion that the Earth and the moon were once a single body. Darwin's hypothesis was that a molten moon had been spun from the Earth because of centrifugal forces, and this became the dominant academic explanation. And this man was right. This Caucasian was absolutely right. Using Newtonian's mechanics, he calculated the moon had orbited much more closely in the past and was drifting away from the Earth. This drifting was later confirmed by American and Soviet experiments using laser ranging targets placed on the moon. All right, so Darwin was absolutely right in this particular aspect. All right. Nonetheless, Darwin's calculations could not resolve the mechanics required to trace the moon backward to the surface of the Earth. In 1946, Reginald Aldworth Daly of Howard University challenged Darwin's explanation, adjusting it to postulate that the creation of the moon was caused by an impact rather than centrifugal forces. Little attention was paid to Professor Daly's challenge until a conference on satellites in 1974, during which the idea was reintroduced and later published and discussed in Icarus in 1975 by doctors William K. Hartman and Donald R. Davis. Their model suggested that at the end of the planet formation period, several satellite-sized bodies had formed that could collide with planets or be captured. They proposed that one of these objects may have collided with the Earth, ejecting refractory volatile pore dust that could coalesce to form the moon. This collision could potentially explain the unique geological and geochemical properties of the moon. A similar approach was taken by Canadian astronomer Alistair G.W. Cameron and American astronomer William R. Ward, who suggested that the moon was formed by the tangential impact upon the Earth of the body the size of Mars. It is hypothesized that most of the outer silicate body would, whereas the metallic core would not. Hence, most of the collisional material sent into orbit would consist of silicates, leaving the coalescing moon deficient in iron. The more volatile materials that were emitted during the collision probably would escape the solar system, whereas silicates would tend to coalesce. All right. So this is where they claim this particular thing happened. But it makes no sense. It makes no sense. They say this thing, Thea, impacted the Earth and then caused this Thea thing hit the Earth, right? And broke into debris and caused the moon to come around. That's totally false, because the moon was blown from the planet, not an impact going into the planet. All right. Oh, shoot. I still wanted to keep screen sharing. Sorry about that, folks. I just wanted to end that real quick. All right. What you think about what you just heard, Ken? Guess I'm here by myself. All right. So
no, I was saying that. Oh, my bad. The mute button. No, my bad. No, I was saying that it's all scientifically sound, and that it just proves that our people are lost, you know, and that information had to be updated, because that's basically what we're gonna do anyway when we double back and kind of show how the ancients knew these things. It's just that the negative evolutionary forces, you know, we lost our memory, and we definitely lost the ability to keep up with the times, and so we fell behind. But yeah, that's like I said, if they get the nature books and really use sound right reason, see the thing, and they don't get that sound right reason is a living mentality. So when they pick these books up, they just think that the book's supposed to tell them A to Z, and then it leaves them with no type of mental work to do. And then they won't realize why they got to fight so hard to preserve it and to teach it, so the wisdom and knowledge can be found, and you know the books can be respected, and the author that did the work and those that helped them, you know, they can see that, okay, the information been here, the mentality wasn't. And that's why the information could never be printed until the mentality was present. So yeah, there's nothing they can do, because anything opposite of what you're saying, that's like, again, we're validating the books, would only prove they don't have nowhere else to go except mythology, and you can't prove that. So they're gonna look pretty ridiculous trying to say what you're saying is pseudo when they can't give you nothing with scientific evidence of how did the moon get here. And so they're just gonna sit and just look at it and say, well, either gonna say, well, I don't know, but what you're saying definitely can't be true because it's Caucasian. So it's just so dumb. It's not Caucasian. The stuff was here. A system was in place before it was any humans or even the gods and goddesses. This is the sun and the earth doing their thing, and this is how the moon was produced. But go ahead. I'm enjoying it.
Oh, you're going to enjoy it even more. So, matter of fact, I think let's go back to the nature books real quick. Real quick. All right. You remember the part of that he said that what? The matter, you see that from the nature books?
Yeah, with the moon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Remember, it says, listen to the reason. The matter from the subterranean explosions in the planet that did not reach orbit to become parts of the moon fell back to the earth and what? Formed mountains, right? So let's go to that. You see that picture right there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, what do you see? Oh, wait. I wanted to also put another piece in there too. Look. Now, he says they fell back and formed mountains, hills, and other high places in the planet. The explosions caused huge cracks and craters in the earth, which became rivers, lakes, seas, and oceans as rains kept coming and falling, right? Let's look at this big picture. What do you see here, Ken? Northeast Pacific Basin and East Pacific Rise, right? If you look on North America, you see what? The Rocky Mountains on the what? On the western aspect of North America. You see this here, Ken?
Mm-hmm.
And on the bottom of South America, there's what? There's mountains there too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, these are the Andes Mountain, I believe. Right? And then he said it causes what? Huge cracks, right? There's something called the Mendocino fracture zone, the Murray fracture zone, the Malo
fractures are cracked.
Fracture zone, the Clarion fracture zone, the Cliperian fracture zone. That means something was blown from that area.
And a fracture means a crack.
That's right.
Like a fracture.
Challenger fracture zone and caused deep areas. The Cameron Trench, the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest trench in the ocean, is right here. Everything right here. Everything right here is where the moon came from. The Pacific Ocean. I hope y'all watching and reading and seeing this, man. You ain't finding this in no other science, not even conventional science. They not telling you this stuff. It's Noone. And if somebody come after us and do it, they ain't gonna they copying from us. You better believe it. Up here in Asia is mountains too. Right? There's mountains on this side too that form the what's those mountains called, man, on that side of a town? Hold on. Is it hit? Do they show it? Because part of those mountains too is I believe is the is other mountains on that side too, but there you go right there. These are the fracture zones, which are the cracks that he spoke about. These are the mountains that fell back to the planet and formed mountains. All right. So it's nothing more to be said, basically. Hold on. But I think we can go back to also because there was a nice little article that I had. Anything you want to say real quick, Ken?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, you're doing your thug thizzle right now. I know you trying to find the other mountains.
No. I'm good. All right, unless you got a picture of them or something.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What is the Appalachian Mountains already mentioned?
I don't think we mentioned the Appalachian Mountains, no. But they usually border the Pacific Ocean. You see like how the Rocky Mountains border the western part of America, North America, and then the Andes Mountain border the western part of the South America. But there's mountains on the other side too that fell back to the planet when the moon was formed.
They claim the Appalachians was formed 480 million years ago.
Mm-hmm. We know all these mountains was formed when the moon was formed. So, and this was billions of years ago. This not
billions, right?
All right.
1,500 miles, 6,000 something miles height.
All right. All right. So this is just a very small article, also proving that the
Appalachian Mountains run through Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and parts of southern upstate New York.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here we go. We have determined that the abundances of oxygen 16, oxygen 17, and oxygen 18 in 31 lunar samples from Apollo missions 11, 12, 15, 16, and 17 using a high precision laser fluoration technique. All oxygen isotope compositions plot within plus minus 0.016 per mil, sorry. Two standard deviations on a single mass dependent fractionation line that is identical to the terrestrial fractionation line within uncertainties. The observation is consistent with the giant impact model, provided that the proto-Earth and the smaller impact planet named Theia form the identical mix of components. The similarity between the proto-Earth and Theia is consistent with the formation of the same heliocentric distance. The three oxygen isotopes provide no evidence of the isotopic heterogeneity on the moon was created by lunar impacts. So basically what they're saying is that those oxygen isotopes on the moon and on the Earth, or this Theia thing, which means moon, basically it's the same isotopes. But how can a foreign object collide with the planet, right, and have the same isotopes as the planet? That makes no sense. What makes sense is that the moon and the planet were once one, and those same isotopes form that particular thing. That's like saying, yo, listen, my blood and a Caucasian blood is the same blood, even though we come together with each other and form the same object. We can't form the same object unless we are from the same blood.
Right.
That's why no,
I said right.
So we gotta use sound right reason when we're dealing with issues like this. A foreign object hitting Earth is not going to create the same isotopes. It would cause a different isotope to form. But if they are from the same origin, guess what? They will have the same isotopes.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So that destroys their whole theory about a foreign object hitting the planet and then creating creating the moon. All right. So that's the only thing I want to add right now to that. So, and I know if you got a piece that you want to add in there, Ken, you could add that in there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, let me go here real quick. Screen change. All right. Let me know.
Yeah, it changed.
All right. This right here, because you know, we got to debunk and make it plain.
Woo!
The Nwapians, I told you this is gonna catch up with them, telling all these damn lies and having a different creation story for every time they switch up. And again, what they fail to realize, when you talking about real events, that means the event can only happen one time in one way. You can't sit and change it up every time. That's not reality. So that proves that they're retarded and that they have no sensibility or reason, and this downward descending reasonability. Because if you say I was born in 1985 and such, that's and say that was when you was going through one school of religion. Certain things in whatever you going through still shouldn't change, because whatever you're doing, you still have to base it around actual events. But they don't consider that. And they throw everything out, as they say, they throw the baby out with the bathwater, which is the real events will be the baby. The same way York has changed his birth dates multiple times, and they don't see anything wrong with that. So that means that they at a state of mental death, that there's no brain activity. And so that this is the problem. So this is coming out of the Holy Tablet. The Holy Tablets that York plagiarized. This particular book is super pseudo, this particular chapter, because there's no sources, and York borrowed a little bit of information from the Nation of Islam, which talks about how the moon came about. Like I told you, York always had to outdo anybody that came before him, just so he can throw him at the top. So when people tell the stories from his information, somebody say, "Oh, this was already spoke about with the honorable Elijah Muhammad," and he'd be like, "Oh well, the master gave us more in-depth information." Number one, Elijah Muhammad never told them what he got his information from either. So there's no way York could give you an in-depth information unless he had access to the same thing. But since it never was given, because there is no such thing as a big-headed scientist that did all of these things. But this is what York said. So this is called the story of Luna. And it said the moon as you know it today is in its later state. It was once a part of an enormous planet, Tiamat, 24 billion years ago, before it broke off 11 billion years ago. And before that, it belonged to an even greater planet called Tiamat. All right. Before the planet Tiamat was blown away by a crazy scientist by the name of Luna in an attempt to rule the whole planet. So here, this is, again, a contradiction, because, again, we have to keep reminding them that York didn't write, and York even admitted to it, that he didn't write the nine-ball, the Bible interpretation, nor did York influence the nature. So I just have to put that on the record. Here, York claims some unconfirmed person tried to blow the planet up and cause the moon to come out. Again, no sources, and nowhere does it say where exactly on Earth did this take place. He said Luna attempted to explode the whole planet. And Tiamat caused the breaking away of a moon called Kinoo or Luna, meaning great emissary. Again, great emissary from where? It's no language, he's not telling you exactly where he's extracting this from. Because if you're saying that the planet was called Tiamat or Tiamat is Akkadian. That's going into the Akkadian and the Sumerian story. But when you start talking about Tiamat and then you start talking about Kinoo, even you go to Chuck's site, NoopooH.com, he broke down that the spell of Kinoo don't even exist. And these things that York is making up. Now he said this happened 66 billion years ago. He placed a bomb called Balus, which was made from plutonium, that came from his original home in Pluto. So the thing, you know, these things is what people be saying. Well, let me put them and see. Because he's saying this is over billions years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now according to the science, it said plutonium was discovered in 1940. So how is it somebody discovered plutonium when that's in the earth, deep in the earth?
That's right.
And he's saying that plutonium comes from Pluto because they got the same first 4 letters.
That's false.
Right.
Because number one, plutonium is not a natural element. Let me check to verify, but I don't think that plutonium is a natural element. I'm gonna tell you that, and give me a minute.
All right, hold on.
Anything on the bottom of the periodic table of elements was recently created by man.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on, I'm gonna go check, make sure.
And it said it was named after the dwarf planet Pluto, which was considered a full planet at the time, which was also incorrect because Pluto is not a planet. And then it said this followed from the tradition started when uranium was named after the planet Uranus. Plutonium does not exist in nature and has no known stable isotope. So again, how did he get plutonium?
It's me, like
right.
I said.
So that means if plutonium was made by man, that means this would be up into 1940. It was no, according to York and how his stories are written, there was no humans then. So how can you get something that was made by beings that came way later, but it's there in that time, and then you say Luna came from Pluto, where Pluto is not a planet. So none of this stuff is not based in reality. This is what you call folklore, myth, and lies.
That's outdated. That's what they gonna say. They gonna sit there and lie and say, "Oh, it's outdated," and we ain't dead no more. But that's a lie.
No, there's no way. First of all, you got to prove that this person existed, and he can't prove it. And the planet, the universe, is not 66 billion years old. So this is dumb, and again, no scientific information. He goes on to say he placed a bomb called ballast. All right, now if you go and look this up again, because York is such a fake Muslim. Let me see. Let me because I know about this word. I just want to get this first. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you about this word. Ballast is before I say, I'm gonna just let it come up. Hold on. Cause he likes to mess with things. He'll change a syllable here and there. It's a noun. See Balu. Balu, ballast, see Balu. And it basically goes back to the word bear, as in the animal bear, which is just straight stupid. But I think ballast also can go back to some type of diamond. Let me see, ballast. Because I remember doing some research in another way. But it got different meanings. But yeah, that ballast is probably a corrupted word of something else. But I can't recall it right now. I'm gonna look it up later. But this has no such thing, because ballast, even when you pull it up, it goes into, I seen the word bear. But anyway, it said which was made from plutonium that came from its original home in Pluto and placed it in Shambhala, which is then called Ishara. That's them York believing that it's hollow and it's two inner it's cities inside the earth, which is no such thing. Which was then called Ishara. Plutonium's name was derived from the planet Pluto. Pluto is not a planet. It is a radioactive chemical element and bears the symbol Pu. Its atomic number is 94 and its atomic weight is 239.13. Plutonium is one of the main elements used in nuclear weapons. In the center of the planet Earth is a long 30-mile tube due to the plutonium bomb. This is again him trying to alter the story from the Nation of Islam. When King of the Moon broke away, Luna himself was on that part. Luna wanted to rule the sun, moon, and all the stars. He only ruled the lower half of the planet Tiamat that you call Earth today, equal in power with the ruler of the upper half. He wanted to rule the whole planet. So again, according to York, is an extraterrestrial from the planet Pluto that wanted to rule the whole planet. Then he wanted to rule the sun, stars. There's no way you can. How can you rule a star? How can you rule the sun? It makes no sense. This is the dumb stuff that they say. So now York is calling the moon. He said the moon was a planet because if you go back, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna show you the foolishness, and this is how brain dead people have become. Especially, you know, in the Nawapi lane. This is Luna here, because York like to mix stories up, because Yakub and it's not the same. That's the one who allegedly created the Caucasian race, which is not true. Luna would be considered granddaddy Shabazz in the Nation of Islam lessons. That's the one the Nation of Islam said blew up the planet. All right, so we're gonna go back. I'm almost to the front of it. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I think I went too far. Because here it even show you here about the aliens and stuff coming in and crashing into the planet. No facts. Okay, the origin of the moon. Lo, the creation of the planet we call the moon today. The moon is not a planet. This is the ignorance of these dumb cult leaders. And he said, you may ask why you calling the moon a planet. That is because that's exactly what it is. Let's see, the word planet means a non-luminous celestial body larger than an asteroid or a comet, illuminated by light from a star such as the sun around which it revolves. The moon don't revolve around the sun.
Nope.
It revolves around the earth. From the Middle English, from Old French planete, from late Latin planetia, from Greek planetes, van of plains, planet, from planesta, meaning to wander. You should see how the moon did just that, wander off into space to become what is called the moon today or the month. This is direct dumbness. There's no such thing as that. All right, now, let me know when you can see it when it changed.
All right. Okay.
All right, so the moon is not a planet. The moon is a satellite, first of all. And a satellite is basically what you see what the moon is. It rotates around a planet that rotates around a star. And these here is coming from the Nine Ball and some of the nature books that talks about what the moon is. So the Nawapians who claim York wrote the Nine Ball and all that, which he didn't, but this is books they try to claim. Let's see what the books say. The digit 3, like all other digits, can represent many things and have many meanings. For example, there can represent space, matter, and time, liquid, solid, gases, sun, moon, or earth, male, female, and Noot to gender. So we know the sun is male, we know the earth is female, and the moon is Noot to gender. So there's no way the moon can be a planet, because the planet or the planets, as is spoken of in Noone, are female. The moon is neuter gender. That means it's not male nor female. Nor is it a planet, because it doesn't produce anything. And even in the actual facts, they even say that the moon is a female. It's just ridiculous. In the nature books, the triad of nature, the wife, magic matter by supplying the space, also blackness needed in the germinating process needed, warmness, wetness, darkness, suitable matter, time, space, and the laws of nature. The union of this royal couple, father, vacuum, and mother matter, produce countless offsprings like universe orbs, male and female, spirit beings, male and female, vegetation, male and female, flesh and blood beings, male and female, and all other beings, male and female, and neuter genders. This is what all moons are classified as neuter gender. This is why you have neuter gender as a so-called sex via the moon and the spirit beings, because you got human beings who fit in that category, male, female, and neuter gender.
That's why the society right now is pushing for genderless people.
Right. This is directly from the moon.
So this is the moon concentration.
That's right. The moon base is where the moon is getting all things done. All right. It goes again, just giving them a little something. The center of attraction and control solar systems are basically male gender. The planets thereof are basically female gender. And the satellite therefore are basically neuter gender. So again, Noone supports the same thing. Even mundane scientists know there's nothing up there. So there's no way it can be considered a star, because a star generates heat and life. It's the giver of life, and planets are the growers, the producers. So the moon doesn't do none of that. In the nature books, it's calling it a satellite. So York did not write the nature. Nature had no influence on it. This is why they're so confused and mentally dead, that they don't understand that every time they say that was a school, that means nothing in there was real. There's nothing in there that they can hold on to. The same way they think he gonna come out of there. Never. Listen to reason. The moon of our planet, Earth, is basically neuter gender, but does have enough male and female materials, powers, and energies, which we know the materials is, the different layers of rock. And we know that it has the 9 clay brain, and it has that metal core or iron core, right?
Right.
It got that iron core, it got those type of materials that's in it to produce beings called the moon god, moon goddess by brain concentration. And moon also produces what? Hermaphrodites by way of mind and spirit. This is showing you and proof that N.E.Yians are indeed following moon powers.
That's right.
Of course, hermaphrodites are persons who are what? Homosexual, bisexual, or anyone who indulges in a combination of unnatural or diverse practice sexually. The word hermaphrodite stems from the root word Hermes, and Hermes is the Greek version or name of the moon god. In other words, Hermes is the moon god, Caucasian style, or in the nature of the Caucasian race. Let it be remembered, always let it be known. And I'm gonna stop it right there, just so they can understand that. So them running around talking about, oh, we're in the sun cycle, and y'all sun people, y'all are
Hermes.
Huh? Say it again.
I say he called himself Trismegistus.
Yeah, right. You'll call himself Trismegistus. He said that he's Hermes. So he's telling you he's a hermaphrodite. Well, he's into this stuff. This is what York is by way of Noone science, supports that wholeheartedly. And that means, again, like we've been saying, that the N.E.Y cult are gay, bisexual, or any combination of those things. And they use the term unnatural. So you can't say natural nature because it's considered unnatural.
And on top of that, this is not us bashing against homosexuals. We're basically letting you guys know where this mentality, number one, comes from. And number two, the Nuwapians need to stop, you know, and just come out the closet. Y'all are gay. Y'all are homosexual. Just come out the closet and admit the fact that that's what York need to admit, that he's a homosexual.
Right. And he got them stuck on stupid because he's using them to come out. So he even scapegoating them at the same time. And that's the sad part. I'm trying to pull something up real quick. Just for the sake on a hermaphrodite. I'm gonna look up the Hermes thing just so they can see that, because York did not write the book. The Noone Science does not support that, although Noone Science does acknowledge the existence of hermaphrodite spirits, no doubt, but nowhere in the world does you see a Noone that supports this foolishness. And this is a post out of one of out of the AEO book, where York calls himself Tahuti. If you look, see where I'm at, he called himself Tahuti, and he said also called Hermes. And this is coming out of one of Dr. York Right Knowledge books. If you look at the middle paragraph, you can see why I'm moving my cursor. Right at there, right here, York called himself Hermes. And this is part of one of the AEO where he talked about the Netta Tahuti. And it goes into here. He used to talk about Tahuti and how he was called Hermes. I'm gonna see if I can make it right here. This is what he said. The great master deity, I just blew it up, was known by many names. Some call him Thoth, others call him Hermes. So this is what you're dealing with. So York is also claiming to be Hermes, which is the root word to the word hermaphrodite. It says out of the black book, who are you and where are you from? I'm a product of your needs, an answer to your questions, a fulfiller of your dreams. However, first note that I am the great Netta Amun Nubi Raka Ptah, who did not rule on earth but rule amongst the stars. I am also known as Amanu Ruach Ptah.
Right on earth.
Huh?
Amanu Rakata did rule on earth. Not on no outside the planet. That's false. He said that he didn't rule on earth, right?
Right. Again, that means not the same one that wrote the non-ball of the Bible interpretation. And how can a moon god rule anywhere other than from where you from? It don't make no sense. He says here, Tahuti from Septis Sirius. Makes no sense, because if Tahuti is a moon god, that means you have to be origin is from our moon. How can you be a moon god from the Sirius?
Which is a star system.
Right, that's the sun. He ain't from there, because there's no such thing as a solar system that's dominated by moons as far as gravitation and life and all that's concerned. It don't make no sense. Moons are the third to be formed. He said the Jehuti, Zehuti, or Jijihoti, or in the Greek they call me Thoth, Thought, and Hermes, and Trickman's Justice. So according to the nature of nature, this is all homosexual and gay. So what else can you do? So yeah, I'm done with my presentation. I just wanted to let that be known, because these Nuwapians have to be put on the spot that y'all got too many creation stories and they don't make no sense, and they don't line up, they don't mesh, and it's a bunch of lies as what they always used to telling. So that's all I wanted to add on to that.
All right. That was great. Let's smash the world. Oh man. All right. Hold on. Give me a second. I caught this just now when we was when you was talking. Oh man, wait. This is gonna be crazy, man. This is gonna be crazy. Oh wait. Hold on. Let me pull up the nature books real quick. Here we go. Let me X this out. Boom. Screen share. Boom. Boom. All right. So this is in the nature books, right? So this is where we're gonna prove what Afro-Uno knew what he was talking about, knew the cycle we were in, and knew all of those different things. And it's finna get crazy. Listen to reason. The foregoing paragraph does give the reader a brief summary of the main lineage of ruling spirit gods from the beginning of evolution at 0.6 west until now, 0.3 south on the circle of order. Now we will attempt to delve into secondary creations and procreations done by brain newts and the flesh and blood gods and goddesses who have just become the physical god Ta by scientific death of the suns at 0.6 west and now subject to physical death. When the sun and thereby nature in general do die scientific death at 0.6 west, the major liquids cataclysm definitely takes place. Huge tidal waves from earthquakes, great floods from the moon, because the moon loses its waters to our planet Earth and becomes a dead universe body. Ice glaciers form at the north and south pole as time passes. The moon stops rotating on its axis and thereby becomes opposition to the sun on increasing basis. I want to stop there real quick, and I want to go to something. You see that?
Yep.
You see that word, libration? All right. We're gonna leave that screen up, right? But I want us to wait. My bad. Hold on. I also want us to go to this. There we go. Boom. Boom. See that? The definition for libration?
A little bit.
All right. Libration, an apparent or real oscillation of the moon, which parts near the edge of the disk that are often not visible from the earth sometimes come into view. Where do you see that origin of the word? What does that say?
What are you talking about, Latin?
Latin. What does it say right under Latin?
I can't make it out.
Let me see if
Hold
I
on, let me.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. I brought this up by mistake. Hold on. I'm gonna make it bigger. You see that?
Oh, Libra. That's very, very, very important in Noone science. Very important.
All right. And I'm gonna pull something up real quick so you can see this real quick. This article. Boom. This was the theory of libration of the moon. This was done in 1980, right? I want to read this. I'm gonna make it bigger so you can see it. All right. Abstract. In 1693, Jean-Dominique Cassini disclosed his finding that the rotate. What the hell is this? Okay. Yeah, something popped up on my screen. I don't know what. These forces don't want it to be known. But you ain't gonna stop it now. All right. In 1963, Jean-Dominique Cassini disclosed his finding that the rotational motion of the moon could be neatly described by the superposition of two uniform motions, a prograde rotation of the moon about its polar axis and a retrograde recession of the moon's equator along the ecliptic. The description of the motions is now called Cassini's law. The theoretical explanation of Cassini's law shows that the physical libration of the amplitudes less than 0.5, less than an inch. This means that the moon was dragging in 1693, as seen from Earth, must also exist. Until 1970, the physical libration were just marginally discernible, and the dynamical theory was developed to a level far superior to the quality of the observation. In 1970, the resolution of libration observations jumped by a factor of 10 to the 4th over earlier techniques, which means that the moon started librating.
Moving.
It started to rotate. And existing theories became inadequate for analyzing the observations. This paper represents a new semianalytic, I don't know what that word is, libration theory that is used for analyzing observations. In this development, the moon is assumed to be either rigid or elastic or anelastic, and its gravity potential is represented through its 4th degree harmonics. The moon is considered to be moving about the Earth in an orbit that is perturbed by the sun, which means the sun is helping to move the moon. The air of the Depret, Henrad, and Ram, and by the planets, the figures, the Earth and the moon, and moon. The direct effects of the rotation of the plane of the ecliptic and the figure of the Earth are also considered. Tables of physical libration variables are tabulated, which are truncated at 0.010. All right. So now we're going to go to libration. All right. In astronomy, libration is perceived oscillating motion of the orbital bodies relative to each other, noticeably including the motion of the moon relative to the Earth, or the Trojan's asteroids relative to planets. Lunar libration is distinct from the slight changes in the moon's apparent size viewed from Earth, which means that the moon only looked one size prior to 1962. Although this apparent can also be described as an oscillating moon. It is caused by actual changes in the physical distance of the moon because of its elliptic orbit around Earth. The lunar libration is caused by 3 phenomena detailed below. The moon keeps one hemisphere of itself facing the Earth due to tidal locking. Therefore, the first view of the far side of the moon was not possible until the Soviet probe Luna 3 reached the moon on October 7th, 1959, and further lunar exploration of the US and Soviet Union. However, this simple picture is not only approximately true over time. Slightly more than half, about 59% of the moon's surface is seen from Earth due to libration, which means that libration started to happen now. The following are the 3 types of lunar libration. Libration in longitude results from the eccentricity of the moon's orbit around the Earth. The moon's rotation sometimes leads and sometimes lags, that's the dragon, its orbital position. The lunar libration is longitude was discovered by Johannes Hevelius in 1648. Libration in latitude results in a slight inclination about 6.7 degrees between the moon's axis of rotation and the normal to the plane of its orbit around Earth. Its origin is analogous to how the seasons arise from Earth's revolution about the sun. Galileo Galilei is sometimes credited with the discovery of the lunar libration in latitude in 1632, although Thurman Harriot and William Gilbert could have done so before. Diurnal libration is a small daily oscillation of the Earth's rotation, which carries an observer first to one side, then to the other side, to the straight line joining Earth and the moon's center, allowing the observer to look first around one side of the moon and then to the other side, since the observer on Earth surface and not at the center. Trojan's libration in 1772. Lagrange's analysis determined that the small bodies can stably share the same orbit as the planet if they remain near Lagrange points, which are 60 degrees ahead or behind the planet in its orbit. Such Trojan asteroids have been co-orbiting the Earth, Jupiter, Mars, and Neptune. Trojan's asteroids associated with Earth are difficult to observe the visible spectrum, as their vibrations path are such that they will be visible primarily in the daylight sky. In 2010, however, using infrared observations techniques, the asteroid 2010 TK7 was found to be Trojan companion of the Earth. It librates around the leading Lagrange point L4 in a stable orbit. Why in the world would they name this process libration if we were not in the cycle of Libra?
Right. That's what it's talking about. Now we got a better equal standing while he said it was a Libra cycle.
And there you go. Libration kicked off the Libra cycle. And that is the ending of where the moon came from. Y'all got where the moon came from, the Libra cycle. Y'all got the foolishness and the Watmians talk about. We got socks, we got soaps, we got everything, man.
Let me throw something else in the game real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Because remember, it said that the moon was locked in. What are you saying that I forgot the
Tidal
term?
forces.
Tidal
forces. Locked in tidal forces. Hold on. You want me to? I'll screen share it again.
Because it was locked in
tidal forces. Look, tidal locking. See?
Tidal locking. That's what it is. Okay, now that rolls into memory. He said when the moon lost its water to Earth, that it became locked in because that's the part it's pulling on. Because when he said lost its water, and so I'm gonna show you why water plays a part in why the moon isn't moving as it's supposed to.
But look, I'm screen sharing it now. Look at how the moon is rotating around this thing. Look, it's not changing its rotation. It's dragging. You see?
Right.
Opposed to the one on the right. Before it used to be like this, but the one on the right you see is librating now. You see? You see it now, right?
Right. Now watch this.
All right, let me stop.
This why all this made sense.
Man, this show is a smoker, man.
Let me know when you can see that.
There you go. Libration molecule.
Now watch what it says. Libration, from the Latin verb librare, to balance, because that's what the Libra cycle is. Remember, they said the moon stopped working against the sun since 1962. So since
you broke up, I'll repeat that. Repeat that. You broke up.
I said it says that in the noon signs that the moon stopped working against the sun. In February 5th, 1962, it stopped working against the sun. Right, now watch this. And it means from librare, to balance, to sway. Right, Libra scales is a type of reciprocating motion in which an object with a nearly fixed orientation repeatedly rotates slightly back and forth. In physics and chemistry, a molecule or other group of atoms can undergo libration if it is subject to external forces or constraints that restrict its orientation. I need you to pull up the moon.
Which one?
Let me see if I can pull it up. In the book, hold on, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up in book 2 real quick. All right, I got it. I got it. Let me go back to where we was at. You can see it. You can see it.
Vibration molecule. Yeah.
All right. Now, for example, in liquid water, any given water molecule is attracted to neighboring molecules so that it has a preferred orientation and cannot freely rotate. Of course, over time, the neighboring molecules move around and the peripheral orientation changes. However, it can undergo vibrational motions, which are measurable in an infrared absorption spectrum and contribute to motional narrowing of other peaks. For instance, the OH stretch. Another example is a molecule crystal. Each molecule unit has a preferred orientation due to interaction with the nearby molecules, but have vibrational modes corresponding to small rotation around this preferred orientation. So this is what it looks like, because this is the molecule. See, it's going back and forth.
That's right.
And we know that as time goes on, it's going to speed up. Therefore, it's causing the movement. But you're talking about water, right? And we know that the sun got a lot to do with that. So when you go to the moon, just let me know when you can see it.
I see it. Dry water bed. Dry water artery.
But we know that ground and rock and dry water bed, but you can see we know the moon has to have some kind of moisture in it because it has a clay brain in there. Hold on, make sure I'm looking at the right one. This the moon?
That's the moon.
Nah. Is it? Yeah. So there go the 9 nature clay brain in the middle. And we know that for clay to stay clay, it has to be some water there. So the water, and again, remember that it's pulling on the earth from the iron core, but we know that the sun is hitting this particular orb with the new 9 ether energies, as well as the earth, because they said both of them have to work together to start the moon rotating again. So therefore, we done proved that. Let me see. And like I said, when you pull that up,
it's heat. It's the heat that's causing that.
Because that's what makes molecules speed up.
Speed up and loosen up that attraction.
Because the moon is locked in from the way the water left the orb to the earth. It got locked in. And it's the way. What part of what part? It says it's rotating. But what part is the moon actually facing that it's stuck on?
Hold on. I had just shown that. If you end your screen sharing, I'll show you.
All right. I'm gonna jump back to something. Go ahead.
You see?
Title locking. Go ahead.
No, right here. You see it?
Yeah.
This on the left side. You see?
Mm-hmm.
The one on the right side shows it actually vibrating. You see?
It just seems like the gray part it's got to be something. You see how they both look like it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the darker part.
Correct. That darker part is I believe is that same section that Afroon was talking about, the dry lake bed, because it's a crater. You remember there's craters in there. There's craters in the moon. Hold on. Like what you just pulled up on the what you call it? Oh, let me show you. Moon.
Yeah, now this is what I was looking for, because this is what's causing the libration molecules.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is what's causing it to move, because we in the sun cycle, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now check this out. This is what causes the vibrational, the molecule vibration. It said infrared radiation is electromagnetic radiation, EMR, with longer wavelengths than those of visible light, and therefore generally invisible to the human eye. Although IR at those of visible light and is therefore generally visible to the human eye, excuse me. Although IR at wavelength up to 1050, I think is nanometers from specifically pulsed lasers can be seen by humans under certain conditions. It's sometimes called infrared light. Infrared wavelengths extend from the nominal red edge of the visible spectrum at 700 nanometers of frequency, 430 THz to 1 millimeter, 300 gigahertz. Most of the thermal radiation emitted by objects near room temperature is infrared. Like an EMR, infrared carries radiant energy and behaves both like a wave and like its quantum particle in a photon. Infrared was discovered in the 1800s by astronomer Sir William Herschel, who discovered a type of invisible radiation in the spectrum lower in energy than red light by means of its effect on a thermometer. Slightly more than half of the total energy from the sun was eventually found to arrive on Earth in the form of infrared. The balance between absorbed and emitted infrared radiation has a critical effect on Earth's climate right here. Infrared radiation is emitted and absorbed by what? Molecules when they change their what? Rotational, vibrational movements. So that's what it means too when the sun cycle came in. That also is that what the moon molecules needed to start those molecules vibrating, which in turn will start the moon eventually back to its rotational point, which they're confusing revolution with rotation. Because it's revolving, but it wasn't rotating. But now we know that on a molecule level, the scientists have now seen that. But after Uno had already said that the moon used to rotate and then it started dragging through space after the 6 West cataclysm, and now they just found when they discovered it was moving
in 1970.
Okay, 1970, not 1980. You sure it was 1970? Okay, so that's how you could tell. So they, by looking at the infrared, that shows that the sun is definitely moving the and again, this infrared is less of an energy frequency than red, and that's pretty much the level that the molecules that the moon needs in order for it to start moving, because of how slow it moves. But that was amazing, man, when you found that the libration, and then I just went a little deeper and looked at the infrared absorption spectrum, and that means that the molecules that the sun is giving the moon is enough for it to absorb, for it to start moving. As you see, the molecules are rocking left to right, but you know, if you turn it all the way, you know, like scales, it's balancing time. That's what that is. So man, that's it right there. That was a beautiful situation. And now let's see how much pseudo they can get out of that.
Yep. So that's it. Another smoker in the books. Now you know where your moon came from. The rocks are supposed to go out into orbit with the moon, fell back to Earth and formed the Andes Mountain, the Rocky Mountains, and certain mountain ranges. Now you know there's cracks under the Pacific Ocean.
Yep.
That was exploded by the Pacific Ring of Fire, which borders the Pacific Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean is where the moon was birthed. All right, you guys, go to answer. The answer's right there. And you go back, you find the answer. So we gave you the moon We gave you the earth. You know, next step is the sun. So we're gonna get to that.
The ancestors too. Not the sun and the birthplace of mankind too.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We gave y'all the birthplace of all these places. Y'all ain't got no excuse now.
Right. And when we get them that, then they can stop talking about the black man is the original man, because that term is being misused. So we'll get into that too, the term, how nature looks at it, and black and all these other good things. And we'll be to go on to that. So true peace to everybody that came and turned out for the support, and those who are going to come later on. I appreciate the class. That's pretty much it. I'm talking Kinoo, NoopooH, the bladder, and I appreciate y'all for giving y'all a little bit of time. True mental calling, peace in wartime.
Indeed, true peace, true peace. Thanks for coming out. Make sure that tomorrow you don't go vote. I ain't gonna tell you to go vote. Make sure you don't vote. And use your energy into into giving back to your race. Do something creative and constructive instead of voting, because the ones that you're voting for are doing something creative and constructive for you to keep you in the space that you're in. Remember to support intelligent black businesses, and make sure that you buy black as much as you can and keep the money circulating within your community. I am A-Noot, Boonoo, NoopooH, and I represent the bone marrow in the African race, and we are signing out. Till next time. Yes.